hello DirtFish friends. Now, a lot of you have been asking about the wonderful setting for our studio here this weekend at the Monte Carlo Rally. Well, I can let you in on a small secret. We're at BGMsport. And I'll introduce you to someone. Ian Gwynn. Ian, I have to say first up, thank you very, very much for having us here this weekend.
Morning, Colin. Yeah, absolute pleasure.
It's a special place you've got here. This is your place, you're the owner.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. We have some very special cars here. Yeah, I think let's take a walk around and have a look at some of them.
Can we? Do you mind?
Absolutely.
I tell you what, we're going to go straight to two of my, listen, they're all my favourite cars.
Take me to your favourite.
I'm going to go and show first of all these two cars, because these two cars here, basically for me, sum up Group B. They're evocative, they're passionate, they're brutal, and they're what it's all about. This one here, the Audi, is just the epitome of Group B cars, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, you take a look around this car, and it's all the, you know, the plastic little winglets that are just, you know, cut out and shaped and literally just screwed onto the car. Same on the rear wing. I mean, it just looks a beast, doesn't it?
But it sits there and it looks aggressive, it looks intimidating, but at the same time, it's beautiful. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. But here's the thing, Ian. So we've got the Audi here, and then we've got the 037s.
Yeah, I mean, on tarmac, the 037 was a fantastic car. Certainly in the early days of Group B. But, you know, then the four-wheel drive cars, the development on those, and then they really kicked in, and these cars just got left behind.
So what you guys do is you look after these cars for customers. You're specialists in Group B, aren't you?
Not just Group B, but certainly of late we've been doing a lot more Group B cars. We've always done Group B, but we are now, you know, we're getting a lot of other customers bringing us Group B cars to restore, to rebuild, to maintain. And you've got to remember, most of these cars are collection cars. You know, these people that own these cars have them generally as an investment. The great thing is that most of them get used on know, demonstration type events. So you know, the people out there, like your viewers today, you know, they're really in awe of what we've got here, and we actually get them out and people can see them being used.
There's probably not another man on this planet that has driven more Group B cars than you have. You're very lucky.
No, I would. You know, I think that there are quite a lot of people out there that drive and have driven Group B cars. I am very privileged and very lucky to, you know, we've got a fantastic client base. We get on so well with all of our customers, and there is a mutual respect both ways of what we do and what they own. And I'm lucky because all the customers allow me to drive the cars, whether it's on a test or a shakedown, or we might go to
a show. You go to lots of shows, don't you?
We do a lot of demonstration shows, or some sprints or hill climbs, or even some non-competitive rallies. You know, we take the cars to those, which is fabulous for, you know, for the public to see them.
It's fabulous. This is special. Gary, back onto this is the Magnum Ferrari, isn't it? Is it the Magnum Ferrari or not?
It's a Ferrari 308.
Yeah.
This was a car that was built in Spain with Michelotto parts back in period. Very, very famous car, and we were very lucky to be given the car by the owner. We did a full restoration on it. First event we went to do was the Modena Centauri in Italy, which is a famous event for classic cars. It's a tour event, so you do circuit racing and you do rally stages.
Oh wow.
And we first event out with that car, we missed winning the event by I think 2.8 seconds.
Wow.
Which is a real shame.
You drove it?
No, I didn't.
You drive
the owner, Chris Wilson, owns this car, and he drove it. Very accomplished driver, but we just missed out by. Come this
way, Ian. As you can tell, folks, this is our studio for the week. This is why you've been asking. But that is where Gary, our cameraman director, sits. David and I sit there, and that is the DirtFish Fiesta on the other side. But this way, gentlemen, can we squeeze through here? Can we squeeze through here or not?
Yep.
Probably squeeze through. Yep. This is beautiful. I love this. The old Cortina looks absolutely fabulous. But I'm going to keep going, keep coming this way, because this is a really special car. Tell us about this one, Ian.
So, Henry Toivonen's 1980 RAC winning car.
Wow.
Absolutely original, genuine car. Even the engine is the original engine, because I personally know the engine builder who lives quite locally, Phil Davison. That was his job at Peugeot Talbot Sport, was to do the engines, and he's verified that engine in that car is the original engine.
I can tell you something about this car. I can tell you who did the shakedown when the engine was built and who took it around the lanes around here.
David Lapworth.
Correct.
Yep.
David Lapworth from ProDrive.
Yep.
His job when he was a young lad,
that's right,
was to take these cars from Peugeot Talbot. Was it Peugeot Talbot in those days? Is that what it was called? Or was it called Talbot? I think it was called Talbot, wasn't it? Whatever it was called. And he would drive them. He would put 600 or 700 miles on the engines before they were used in competition.
That's right. Yep,
there's a story about this one as well. I think they had a development engine.
No, I think what happened was, actually, you're right. David he went to run this car and run the engine in, and I think it had an engine problem.
It did.
Maybe the day before, and they actually changed the engine literally just before the rally.
Back to the original.
You can imagine if it had done maybe 50 or 100 miles less, he'd have been out of the rally straight away.
He would.
But that is a very special car.
This is another one that a lot of people of my generation, they look at and they go, that was the car we grew up dreaming about owning.
Exactly. And this car is absolutely, I mean, it's just an amazing car to drive.
Wow.
It's a period car, rallied in France on French National Championship, never did anything in particular on World Championship, but a really, really, really neat little car. I mean, that's over 300 horsepower.
That's incredible.
Bearing in mind, it's only a 1400 single turbo, but that is over 300 horsepower.
And you were saying it's quite drivable. It's quite.
Very much so. Yeah.
Wow.
Very, very much so.
Car next door. I mean, again, I just don't know where to stop when I'm coming around. This one is special for a number of reasons. We're at the Monte Carlo Rally. Roman Cresta, who can forget on the outside of that hairpin?
Wasn't he lucky?
Hanging over the edge with a telegraph pole.
Yeah. Whoever put that telegraph pole there, put it in the right place, didn't they?
They absolutely did. But this is one that, as you say, for a generational World Rally car, if you wanted to buy a World Rally car, great value for money.
They are, and do you know what? I've actually got paperwork going back on the Skoda, the Octavia WRC car to 1997, and many people may not know this, but ProDrive were commissioned to do the development work for this car.
That's news to me.
Yeah, back in 1997.
Wow.
And actually there are items on this car that are very similar to what you see on a like a 97 or a 98 Subaru World Rally car. The uprights are very similar, the drive shafts are very similar, the diff packs are exactly the same. You know, the accumulator packs. So you can clearly see that there was ProDrive involvement in this car, and it's an amazing car to drive. It looks, you know, this and actually the legacy that we've got here, which was one of Colin's cars. They were kind of
There is more. We're heading that way. There is more, folks.
They were kind of known for being the sort of taxis of the current World Rally cars. I mean, look at the size of them. They're huge.
It's massive. It's absolutely massive. And this one is actually for sale. One of the few cars
it is. That car, that car is going up for sale.
Wow.
Only because we want to kind of juggle around some of the collection cars, and you know, we're basically looking at getting more Group B cars. So this is one car that's actually going to be sold.
Let's come across this side. As I say, it's a smorgasbord of rally cars here, of some of the world's best rally cars. We'll just go a little bit quickly along this line. The Burns car, quickly. That's a winning car, isn't it?
No. This is an interesting car for two different reasons. When Burnsy won the World Championship, his contract with ProDrive or with Subaru, whoever it was with, if he won the World Championship, they would give him a car. I think Richard was expecting the car, but they gave him that car, which he never drove. But the actual history of the car is S7 SRT, finished second in New Zealand with UR Kankkunen in 1999.
So it has got.
It's got real provenance.
New Zealand, this car's got decent history.
Yeah, Sweden '92 with Colin.
No, that's not the history I was referring to.
Sorry?
David Evans and Ian Gwynn, North
Oh, of
Wales, a year or
course.
so ago.
Of course, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, David and I actually did the Chester Rally Revival in it last year, which was really good fun. And we got ran without getting too lost as well, which I was
Did you get to the stage
quite
starts on time? He's not very good with his timing.
The only one we didn't get to was when we followed Nicky Grist and Matt Edwards, I think, because we thought we'd follow them because, you know, Nicky Grist, he's never going to go wrong, right? Anyway, there we go.
This one's a bit special to me, probably my favourite rally car, but I used to work for 555, so
that's
really
right.
special to me. But tell us a little bit about this one, Ian.
So this, so McRae 97 car, the car won Safari Rally in 97, second in Argentina, and then I think it was Indonesia, the car caught fire. You may remember it in I think it was in the service area or going to service, it caught fire and it put them out of the rally anyway. But these two-door Subaru World Rally cars are, they're very iconic. They're a very, well, it's a sexy looking car, isn't it?
It's the greatest looking Subaru I think there ever was. Apparently, David Richards' instructions to the car designer was, I want this car to look fast when it's standing still. And it does, doesn't it? It does. This way, Gary, we've got a couple more things to look at. And Ian, this is a really, really important car for all of us, obviously. It's the DirtFish R5 car. Tell me a little bit about this one.
So the car, so it's owned by Steve Rimmer and James Rimmer, obviously, as we know, owners of DirtFish. It's a car that we actually bought from Marco Martin Motorsport a couple of years ago. And the idea was that James was going to actually come and do some driving in the car in the UK, but everything with the virus that's gone on, it's just not been possible. But fortunately, we're actually now going to ship the car to the US, so James can use it in the USA, which is fantastic.
It looks great in these colours. It just looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does look good.
This car has got proper provenance. The Solberg, 2005, isn't it?
Yeah, it's actually an 04 car, but it won Sweden in 2005 with Petter Solberg. So, you know, it's a very famous car. The thing with these, Colin, is there's very few of them.
Right.
And there are literally very few. There are very few of the sort of the more modern classic Subaru World Rally cars.
But where did they all go?
Well, they didn't make many to start with.
Okay.
And I think people think that there were more made than there actually were. But most of these cars now are being bought up and they're going into
collections.
Yeah.
Right,
absolutely.
we'll just finish off, folks, because we could talk to Ian for a long, long time. There is more here, which is hard to believe, but downstairs is the actual workshop where Ian was telling us earlier on, they work on the cars.
Down the ramp.
We can walk down the ramp, apparently. I'm no good with heights, but we'll walk down the ramp. Just look at what we've got below us there. We've got an 037 that's awaiting an engine.
No, that's a Delta S4.
That's what I meant, a Delta S4.
I know,
the 037 is here. Gazer, can you see the 037 in martini colours? That is the homologation special next to it. People bring these cars here because clearly you guys know what you're doing with them. There's another 037 under there. How do you pronounce that? Toe-tip.
Toe-tip.
Toe-tip, Lancia, toe-tip colours.
Yeah, toe-tip 037.
This is a proper active workshop here.
Yeah.
I've got to say, Ian, it's been an absolute joy and
Pleasure.
a privilege to be allowed here this weekend. Folks, Ian Gwynn is the man at BGMsport. We have to thank him for allowing us to squat in these wonderful premises this weekend.
Take over.
Yeah, something like that.